Hi, I'm Danny Knightmare.
I'm Gory Movie.
And we're Horror Addicts. And we figure that, well, at least our country right now is all just sitting back, holding its breath, waiting for the results of an STD test. So why not just have some fun, come on here and talk about...
It gross.
Right? Well, that's kind of what everybody's doing right now. So we're going to just talk about October. I haven't done much. I know, the only video I put up was in Halloween, so... wanted to touch base and kind of give you guys an update of what we've been doing.
If you're here, say hello, let us know you're in the chat, and, as we're going about things, just tell us what you've been doing in October.
Exactly. We'd like to know what everybody else did.
We're very nosy like that.
Very nosy. Not really.
I am.
Well, it was a pretty busy month. It was a roller coasters of ups and downs, because it started off with our beloved Morticia, the PT Cruiser, passing away.
We're going to tell sad stories?
Yeah, that's how it started. Our car died. What up, Miss 80s?
Hey, Beth!
And we love that little thing. Gory kind of had it pimped out to look kind of like a little,
It was like a hearse for killer clowns. It was amazing. I loved it.
So
and now it's gone, and we have just, a basic car.
Yeah.
Dan's happy, so that's all that matters. Oh, we just started the stream on a dour note, dude.
And that happened right before me and Lols went to AEW Wrestle Dream, so we had to scramble to make something happen. Thankfully, our grandpa came through with helping us out with getting a car.
Why did Grandpa get the?
It was awesome. I didn't do this.
I thought that's what you did. I'm like, Grandpa. I'm like, oh.
It was just awesome of him.
Your sugar daddy.
No, yeah. I'm pretty sure I did that. Now I'm questioning myself.
I don't know. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Anyways, that was awesome. I've been making payments on that for a while, but thanks for the help. We have a car now. We're reliable. Made it to AEW Wrestle Dream. It was, always wanted to see what a big wrestling show would be like live, and even got scissored while I was there. At the end of the show, some guy's like, "I got you, bro," because he was wearing a Scissor Me Daddy shirt, and Halls was so confused. And he's like, "Oh," and he scissored.
Might want to explain it's part of the...
Yeah, the Acclaim, also Billy Gunn, used to be the Ass Man, Badass Billy Gunn. They do a scissoring motion with their fingers. So Halloween withdrawals, yeah, I hate to see it go.
It's sad because for me, Halloween is the end of my year, and then I feel like I don't know. Then it's winter, and I'm not a big winter person, and I'm not big on the other holidays where they make me see people and stuff, and
right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, gosh darn it, it's gonna be another whole year to my favorite time of year, Halloween. Because I just love Halloween. I mean, it's pretty much Halloween all year round here, but Halloween. October is when the whole world kind of agrees with me and they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. I like your outfit. Whereas most of the rest of the year, they're like, it's not Halloween, dude. I'm like, it is in my soul.
You feel kind of judged for being spooky all year until October rolls around and then people are like, hey.
Then they want to be spooky with you and people want to know what horror movies to watch and everyone's talking about spooky stuff. And then everybody goes back to being lame. Except for us, our people.
So this is it was our first Halloween in our new house. We decorated it and whatnot. We handed out full-size bars. Though we had more trick-or-treaters than we had in the last, 10 years or so.
That's what happens when you hand out full-size candy bars. We got double dipped. There's a kid who tried to come back. I'm like, I saw you, kid.
She was playing what? No, I don't think I've been here. So that was a lot of fun, but... After AEW, we also, me and Gore, I just went by myself to Guar, but it was the first time I'd seen Guar in 3 years, so I was really happy to see Guar with their new guitar pedal, our new guitar player, plus, so, it was good to finally do that. I'm drinking spooky beer, pumpkin on it. Your beer's poured into an Elvira cup.
Oh, is it now?
I'm glad I got to finally see Guar again. Played a lot of cool songs. I got a ballsack guitar pick for being in the front row. It's the first time I've been front row in a really long time, so got smushed. I'm 40 now. Well, I'm 41 now, but I was 40 when I got smushed.
I couldn't go. I have tendonitis in my biceps, so I had to sit it out. But it's getting better.
It wouldn't have been fun.
You know, because just all that getting swole, man. Actually, it's from like home improvement stuff. It's lame. Let's not talk about it.
Wait, didn't you guys start off the month by going to Chuck E. Cheese, you and Laws?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Loud?
Loud. Was there animatronics? Was it scary?
No, they have like videos now. They want to hear about every single little thing we did, dude.
Of course they do. That's what we were doing.
But it was cool because Chuck E. Cheese was spooky themed, so that was cool. And I went with my niece and nephews and my sister. It's pretty fun. But yeah. I'm like, I prize myself my skee ball skills, and my little wings all messed up, dude. Aww. Could not show the kids how it was done. Tried to do it with my left hand, just does not work.
I'm sad that they don't have like Five Nights at Freddy's things going on in there anymore.
No, you can go to Rocky and Bullwinkle, so they still have them.
That's good. Yeah, full-size bars. Those kids were lucky. But like I said, we thankfully we had some spare small candy too, because at the very end we were just giving out handfuls of that. We did not have the full size for the whole thing. Almost though. Only a couple people missed out on full size. And what were you for Halloween?
I was a roller derby girl.
Yeah.
I just wore my roller derby uniform.
That's where Gory B movie comes from. You were a roller derby before a horror host. And Lols was Scooby-Doo. If you've seen the thumbnail, you know what we were. That's a picture from Halloween. He was Scooby-Doo with a big mascot head. And then I was Ranma Satome, or as you like to call it,
Ranma One Half.
Yes, name of the show. So that was a lot of fun. Halloween itself. But before Halloween, we went to HorrorCon.
Yes.
Yes. Now, that's what people might want to hear about, right?
Yeah, it took you long enough to get there.
Well, you got to build up to it.
Yeah, people were like, yeah, dude, this sounds lame. The guy's just going to start talking about what he got for groceries this month, bills he paid.
T-bone steaks.
Yeah. Skip to the good stuff.
All right, who did we meet at HorrorCon?
Okay, so we went to HorrorCon. HorrorCon, it's Elvira's HorrorCon. It's done by the same people who do SummerCon here in the Pacific Northwest. And it's notable because it is the first one. So SummerCon is more of like a Comic-Con. It's kind of all-encompassing nerd type, fandoms. Whereas HorrorCon is much more like, Monsterpalooza or Crypticon or Texas Frightmare, that kind of thing. So it's strictly horror. And they got a really nice lineup there.
Guests.
So yeah, they got a lot of guys from the Lost Boys. They got almost the entire cast of Starship Troopers. Like, I think they got like everybody you would want to meet in Starship Troopers. Yeah, I think everybody. Let's see. They got like Richard Brake. They got tons of people, but the person I most wanted to meet was, and as you can tell, this is not Sarah Michelle Gellar or Buffy. Okay, I need to just pump my boobs up. This is Henry High, not Sunnydale. I'm trying to point over here. Mm-hmm. So this is Kirsty Swanson's Buffy from the movie. And she was there, and she was really, really sweet. I've met all kinds of people from, movies and such, and I think the worst ones are where they don't say anything to you, and it's just kind of awkward, and they just want to sign your thing and, have you mosey on. But she was really, really sweet. Like, anything I mentioned to her, she had, like, a little anecdote or something about. Like, she was just really nice. Like, I talked to her about how we danced to the song that Pike and Buffy danced to at the dance, the Toad the Wet Sprocket song, Little Heaven, at our wedding. And we just celebrated our 12th wedding anniversary on October 13th. Yes. We got married on October 13th, which sometimes it's Friday the 13th, which is rad. But yeah, and then she said, actually, because that movie was a big, like, thing for Luke Perry. He got Kirsty Swanson involved. He got David Arquette, who he had lived with for a little while, involved. He got a lot of the cast involved. So that was supposed to be like the big like launching vehicle for him. I will be doing a kind of retrospective, all the gory details type review on Buffy the Vampire Slayer here really soon. I wanted to meet her first and see if I can get any more information. Which I did. And she said, she said it's really funny. I mentioned that because the song that they actually danced to was one of Luke Perry's favorites. They asked them for suggestions, and they were actually dancing to Fly Me to the Moon, which is really, really cool by Frank Sinatra. And then also David Arquette was there from obviously Scream fame. Oh, and you can't see it very well, but up on the wall you can see my Buffy poster has been autographed and my Scream poster.
I got him to sign this because he is the former WCW heavyweight champion of the world, David Arquette. Like you said, he was also in some movies, so go on.
But yeah, he's also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I told him mine and Danny's favorite exchange in that movie, which is, "Let me in, Pike. I'm hungry."
You're floating.
I love that part. So we were just like, "Oh my gosh, you two had amazing chemistry." And he's like, "Yeah, you're really good friends. And if you've seen You Can't Kill David Arquette, which is a documentary about David Arquette actually, training to be a professional wrestler, Luke Perry's in it. They were very good friends. So that was really sweet. And we also talked to him about Scream and how much we love Dewey. Like, bring back Dewey." And then you talked to him about wrestling.
Yeah, rest in peace, Luke Perry. His son, Jack Perry, who's in AEW right now, is the TNT champion, I believe. He is also in that documentary because he was kind of starting his career alongside of David Arquette. He's way younger, though. David Arquette won the WCW World title back in, 2000 when Ready to Rumble came out. He was an actor. They did an angle. He didn't pin another wrestler, but he was in a tag team match, and he ended up pinning, one of the promoters, Eric Bischoff, and he ended up winning the title because of it. He never asked to win it. That was not his idea. He thought it was kind of weird, but he just went along. That's what they wanted, so he did it. A lot of people have given him a lot of flack. A lot of wrestling fans have hated this idea. I never thought it was a good idea myself, but I never personally hated him. I loved Ready to Rumble. The movie's awesome. Foreign object. Bam. Anyways, so he won the title, right away as an actor. People hated him for it. He was doing some wrestling conventions, and people would, come up to him and be pretty rude to him about him, like he's not really a wrestler and stuff. So he decided he was going to start from the bottom. He met up with a guy from one of those conventions. They went and did backyard wrestling matches. They were literally just letting people in a backyard smash them with light bulbs, throw them on thumbtacks, that kind of stuff. Got it out of the way, let them beat him up. He then got a hold of Diamond Dallas Page, who also started his career kind of backwards because he went from ring announcer to manager to wrestler. So he started kind of an older age himself. He was also in Ready to Rumble. Main bad guy in that movie. But he gave him some connections. He sent David Arquette down to Mexico to learn Lucha Libre, where they literally made him do wrestling moves in the highway on the street where there was red lights, and you'd have to get hit with a chair and do some flips and get bumped on the ground. Then go ask for money by the people who are still parked there before the light turns green, before they let him actually have real lucha matches in a ring. So he really did work his ass off to become it. He started getting booked at smaller companies.
Yeah,
Nick Gage stabbed him on accident, but stabbed him in the throat with a light tube, and he almost died. Luke Perry rushed him to the ER. So that's one of the reasons why You Can't Kill David Arquette. He really did finally become it. He's actually someone I would love to wrestle.
They did kill him in Scream 6 after that documentary.
Yeah, well, they killed Dewey. They never killed David Arquette.
That's true.
Anyways, I would love to wrestle the guy. I don't know if he's going to have a lot more matches now, but it's just so cool to meet him. Plus, I love Scream, and I love a lot of movies he's been in.
But he was really nice. He was mostly just kind of listening to us gush over him. But, I mean, he really took the time to, be like, hey, that really meant a lot to me. And he just was really sweet. Really nice to meet him. I think the most entertaining person I met, because I had kind of a tier list. So back when I first started going to conventions, many moons ago, guy, many moons, all right? Back when, I would have to, you'd pull some cons and stuff, when you came into the other villages to get enough money to go to the convention. Long time ago. At any rate, it used to be a lot cheaper to meet celebrities. Now it's like $80 to $100 sometimes to get their autograph. It's a lot more to get a picture. Sometimes back in the day, pictures used to just kind of be free. People would be fine taking selfies. It's expensive. That's not even counting what it costs to get in there. So it's expensive. So I had a tier list of okay, I need to meet Christy Swanson. Then I need to meet David Arquette. But who was my number 3 one that I had to meet? I'd love to meet everybody, but unfortunately I'm not made of money yet.
Start peeling off this cash. Making it rain, Gory.
Get all the human monies.
We'll get to that.
Yes. Next was Devin Sawa, which is crazy, dude. You know, I remember his first movies. I saw Casper at the cinema with my brothers. So
I saw Little Giants in the theater.
I have seen most of his movies in the theater. I've seen Final Destination in the theater. I've seen a lot of his movies on the big screen. And now he's part of Chucky, and he was so nice and so funny. I need to post the pictures from it, but he was really fun. I was dressed up like Chucky, so he was a little triggered.
Hi, Jack Payne. What is up, man? It's been a while. That's why I'm kind of throwing this, because I haven't had a live stream in a long time. Only had one video up last month. Just figured kind of catch up on what we've been doing. As she said, we met Devin Sawa. He was such a nice guy. We were almost, you can say we're fanatics. Can't talk long, gotta poop. For anybody who's ever seen The Fanatic.
If you haven't seen it, I as soon as this is over, go watch that. You will laugh so hard you will pee.
It was a movie by Fred Durst. And
it's
for better or worse, I love it.
It's a so bad it's good movie.
Yes.
It's kind of cringy. At one point they are listening to Limp Bizkit. He's like, yeah, this is what we used to rock out to on my day. Oh God, it's bad.
At least
it's bad, but it's funny.
Yeah. John Travolta plays Moose, a character clearly somewhat on the spectrum there, but very obsessive, a fanatic, if you will, of Devin Sawa's character, who's a actor, and he wants to get his autograph. He wants to figure out where he lives. It gets out of hand, and it gets very violent and crazy. But go see it. It is very amazing for all the reasons that it shouldn't be.
It's really insane. It's not terribly believable, but it's really entertaining.
Yes.
Really entertaining. Devin Sawa was so intense in it. I probably would have been afraid to meet him after just seeing that, because he's so ridiculously over the top intense in it. But he's so great in Chucky. Chucky, this TV show, he has played more characters than there are people who played more than one character in the Chucky franchise. But he has done more than anybody else, and he's been killed by Chucky more than anybody else, because he played 2 different characters the first season, played a 3rd character the 2nd season, and then he played 2 more characters the last season. So that's 5, and they've all met their demise by Chucky's blade.
Yeah, I feel like he's been killed by Chucky more than anyone else. So there you go. And that show sadly was canceled, but he says that he is rumored to be brought back at some point.
And yeah, he was super sweet about it too. He's like, it's so cool for me, because I was talking about how cool it is to be a part of something where you get to just be so many different characters and stuff. And he was like, yeah, it's really rewarding as an actor. And he said it's just fun for me when I see Chucky memorabilia or people dressed up like Chucky, like I was. He's like, I'm a part of that. That's he's like, it just feels really cool to be a part of this really big thing that means a lot to so many people.
Oh, and Brad Dourif also plays more characters. He's Chucky, but he's also Charles Lee Ray. Oh wait. Just messing with you. Anyways. So Miss 80s and Jack, what were you guys for Halloween? Tell us. But not only, Devin Sawa was also just really nice and cool guy. When we took some pictures, he reacted to your knife and stuff. It was a lot of fun. But thankfully, and you were friends with their handler, so we got to do a little extra. We also got to meet this very nice, very evil gentleman, Danhausen.
So that if you've gone to a convention, the handler is the person who deals with the money stuff and questions and all that stuff, so that the celebrity person doesn't have to waste time with that. But I have a friend who works for SummerCon and does a lot of the conventions. I actually met him through Crypticon and Reptile Expos. But his wife and my other friend Amanda was Danhausen's handler. So she got to hang out with Danhausen all day, which was the coolest.
Yeah. Lucky. We got to hang out with him quite a bit, though. So
Danhausen's new best friend, Lance Hendrickson, was also there.
Yeah.
Plus, I got to see my buddies Will and Amanda, which they're a fantastic couple. They love spiders. They love lizards. They love snakes. I love those guys. Got to see them. I got to see my buddy Tyler there, a friend of mine from Crypticon, who's just a fantastic cosplayer. He was cosplaying as Fox Mulder from The X-Files because Lance Hendrickson was there. Who else did we see? We saw a lot of buddies from Crypticon.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Mortensen from Crypticon. We also saw Paul Malik.
So our friend Tyler, who's always at Crypticon.
I just mentioned Tyler.
Oh, sorry. What was he dressed up as?
I just literally just said
Okay,
this.
sorry.
It was just Miss Mulder from X-Files.
Yeah, it's a good name.
What the heck, my dude?
I don't know. It's not like it hasn't happened to you. Anyways, so that was a lot of fun. I also got to meet my other favorite current wrestler, because Danhausen's definitely one of my favorites that currently wrestles. Sting and Macho Man. Sting's retired. Macho Man's passed away. My old Mick Foley is up there as well, also retired. But currently my two favorite wrestlers would be Danhausen and Orange Cassidy, and
You met him?
I got to meet him at the AEW event that I was talking about. I was actually on Rampage, like holding up this Orange Cassidy sign. And after the show ended, he signed it for me. It's a nice art. So this has to be retired now. It's going on the wall. I've taken it to every AEW event that's ever taken.
Do a video tour of your man cave and all your cool autographs and stuff.
Once I get it a little more cleaned up. I'm still in the process of doing that, but yes, definitely have a video of that coming soon. But yeah, that was cool. Got to meet him, and even Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, came out. He signed a poster of mine and gave me a hug because it's my birthday as well as his. Well, close to our birthdays. And that was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's definitely gonna get hung up on the wall. It's been to every AEW event that's ever taken place in Washington, and one in Oregon as well. So it's time to retire it. I'll just make another one that looks just like it. Take that one to events from now on.
Make a new one. Make a squeezed one.
Yeah, squeeze.
That one's not a squeezed orange. Make a freshly squeezed one with some like juice coming out of it.
It's a little bruised just from how many events it's been to.
Yeah. Make freshly squeezed. Make an orange juice one.
Yeah. I'll do one that looks like a glass with orange juice in it. Still has the glasses though. So that was a lot of
orange beetle juice.
Orange beetle.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I did I wrote an article for the Comment on 35 years of Beetlejuice. So that was a lot of fun.
I want to tell them what the Comment is.
Comment is a local magazine. You know, they do a bunch of articles, a bunch of pictures. Our friend Douglas Nunn and Kayla Nunn, they do like an article every month for it. I do about two. I do one that's usually a recap for the Oscars, and I do one every October. And I chose to do the 35 years of Beetlejuice. Hey guys, what up, man? What have you been up to? Tell us what you were for Halloween. So yeah. Anyway, speaking of, what movies have we seen this last October?
A lot.
We went to go see Terrifier 3. Very gory, very violent. It was weird seeing, though, a Christmas movie in October. That was a little odd.
If you guys have seen Terrifier 3, I know a lot of people are really praising it. I didn't like it as much as the second one. I'd be curious to hear what you guys thought of it. I thought the ending was just, it felt kind of like a cliffhanger, which I know there's going to be a third one, but yeah, you know, I felt a little cheated by the ending because it felt like it was just build up, and then it ended. So I don't think the climax really delivered that well. But, you know, I still want to see the next one. So I didn't hate it. You know, I enjoyed it. It was pretty funny. I like when the podcast girl is all talking about art and stuff, and he's out there listening. That was probably my favorite part.
She's like, I don't want to do them. And he's like, okay. But yeah, I felt like it was good, but there was a lot more filler than usual. Like, the second one had a lot of actual development of characters and kind of led us into its direction. Where this one, I felt like was just a lot of filler. Like, nothing storyline, and other than maybe the last 20 minutes, there's not a whole lot going on there, story development-wise. But, you know, Christmas and blood, so good. And I was just proud that a horror movie got to be number one in the box office. You know, probably thanks to Chris Jericho, according to him. But it was just kind of cool. See, like, from the old All Hallows Eve, like, anthologies where they were just, like, no budget, and then it went to becoming a cult following, especially with the first Terrifier. The second one got to be in limited theaters. This one got to be number one in the box office. So I love the progression of horror in general just for that. So I'm very happy
part
about
2 didn't even come to our cinema. We got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, but not that.
Yeah.
But this was rad because it was super packed. I don't think they were prepared for how popular this movie was going to be. So
Yeah,
that was cool.
They had it upstairs in the smaller theater, and it was insanely packed. And they had like Joker Part 2 downstairs, and that was probably pretty empty. So they probably should have switched.
I actually shouldn't scare. I haven't seen it. I've just heard it's terrible. But I know Art definitely did better at our theater, and it didn't get the big room. It should have gotten the big room.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they switched it eventually, but not when we went.
Man was Freddy Krueger. Rad.
Oh, hell yeah. Love me some Freddy Krueger. Love anything that has a nightmare involved. Well, basically, that's all I wanted to kind of go on here and say, except for I got a couple updates. People who become members of the channel are going to get to help me pick my reviews from here. I got this cool board from the nuns, and it's a 1 through 100. So anybody who's a member or does like super chats or anything will get votes. This will be starting 2025 though. I already have some stuff that I'm lined up for the rest of this year. But then yeah, anytime if you're just a member, you get a free vote, and you can tell me which one to scratch. I don't know which ones are behind these. There is one that's already been scratched. The nuns, Douglas and Kayla Nunn, are friends. They gave it to us in one scratch. So I guess that'll be the first one I start with. But I'll do that this year. So next year, yeah, there you go. Can help me choose which ones I review. If it says Halloween,
Not till next year.
Yeah, because I only got we got like a little less than 2 months right now. But as of January, that'll be the thing. I'll start doing at least a live stream in the beginning every month like this, and that's when you guys will get to vote.
Cool.
Choose what you
I
guys
should
want.
have mentioned The Substance when you're talking about movies.
Yeah, we watched The Substance recently, and that was pretty rad. Demi Moore still got it, and that's a messed up movie, but I love it. In the third act, I felt like it was pretty predictable, kind of where it was going for the first 2 acts. That third act really...
It's crazy banana pants.
Yeah, that really tore the roof down.
I didn't think it was really predictable at all. I thought, I kind of thought I knew where it was going, but after what is the initial premise, I was like, well, it was cool because it was paying homage to a lot of familiar films. Things like, there's a bit of a Shining homage. There's a Psycho homage. There's a lot of homages to things. It's got a lot of body horror, a lot of Cronenberg, but it feels it's like, okay, this is like a very new movie. And so I was like really excited, where's this going to go?
I feel like I just meant that the second act was like pretty predictable compared to the first act. Like everything that I'm like, okay, this is clearly they're not on the same page. They're abusing their power and that's it. But it almost like it came to a conclusion. And I thought that was going to be the end of the movie. No, there was a whole lot more movie after that. And it was, like you said, insane.
But even the second act, obviously, somebody is going to break the rules. There's a lot of rules. But the consequences, I didn't see that coming at all.
Well, it almost turns into a Gwar concert at the end. And that's another reason why I love it.
Also kind of reminded me of Carrie. Parts of it.
There's definitely some Carrie.
I mean, it's just it is fun and familiar and yet completely original. And honestly, the more blind you can go into this, the better. And I was just so happy to see Demi Moore get a really big role like this that she can just really dig into because she is so incredibly talented. And it just seemed like it was very personal to her too. She really laid everything out there.
Yeah, I definitely say because some movies, they have a good message, but they're not a great movie. This is an example of both. The message is great, but it also is just a really good movie. And if you didn't even take away some of that message, you would still understand that this is a very entertaining movie. You would not be bored. So I definitely recommend that.
And it's kind of funny because everyone's talking about how gross it is. And yes, it's body horror. I think the grossest part for me is the first shot we get, which is a close-up of Dennis Quaid eating shrimp. I'm like, oh, nah, dog, no.
Yeah, that's... It's almost every frame is, in a sense, just filmed to gross you out in a way. But I loved it. That's might be my favorite movie of the year so far, maybe. It's definitely high up there. You finally saw and read The Halloween Tree, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I read it too.
Yes. That was the first time I had heard it, or at least read the story of the book. It's a lot different.
I'm actually gonna it's a little past Halloween now, but I am gonna put it on for my channel members and stuff on my channel. Just me reading it. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be any good. I make a lot of comments, so.
But the classic cartoon Leonard Nimoy. It's just good and spooky. So it was good to kind of watch that again. The book is a lot different, not terribly different. There's still still somewhat the same story, just different. So it was kind of cool to see where the roots of that tree come from.
I mean, I think they're both good, but I would say I prefer the movie. And we also we had kind of a Ray Bradbury night on Halloween. We also watched The Thing Wicked This Way Comes, which is another one where, again, I prefer the movie. The movie's a little creepier. Just the tone and the atmosphere in that is so good. I love them both. But I do think I prefer the movie with Something Wicked This Way Comes as well.
Yeah, 1983 horror movie by Disney, back when they were still kind of dabbling in that. And even though I wouldn't say it's like horribly shocking, it's still dark for a Disney movie, that's for sure. There's a lot of talks about killing, and there is some straight up murders in the movie, so I like it. If you haven't seen that, it's a classic. Check it out. What else did we go see or watch recently?
You saw Strange Darling.
Strange Darling. It was
I
alright.
can pull up Letterboxd if it would help you.
I guess so, yeah.
It's up to you. It's your stream, bro.
Why not? But Strange Darling, that was a ride.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah.
I blocked it out. I just saw the poster and it's all coming back. It's all this is the movie that has given me PTSD.
On Halloween, and this is not that, but similar in a sense. With Lols, we watched the Velma Halloween special.
Okay, that's not what I'm reacting to.
But that
was fine.
If you,
it wasn't good. I don't recommend it, but it didn't shake me to my core.
I mean, it's just the Velma. How you feel about that show is how you'll feel about that special.
You liked the rest of the show, you like the special. If you didn't, you won't. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, bruh. So we watched Crazy House.
Oh jeez.
This movie broke Gory. Normally I wouldn't even bother too much to talk about it.
I thought Beautiful Wedding would be the worst movie of the year, which by the way, it's awful. It's I have it lower than Madam Web. I actually think Madam Web was kind of entertaining. As bad as it is, it was entertaining. But Crazy House, no. Nothing in that movie was enjoyable. For me, I have some friends who like it. You might be one of my friends who like it. And, definitely don't just avoid a movie because I didn't like it. Because we're different people with different brains. But my brain rejected it.
I mean, I like Nick Frost, but in that movie, not so much. Yeah, it's kind of there. I felt like it was a little heavy-fisted with its messages and a little too on the nose, personally. I feel like they could have done certain things with other aspects, which they kind of sprinkle here and there, but not enough for me to care.
What it's about is it's essentially kind of like a Full House, like
sitcom.
90s sitcom family. It is a sitcom. It's on a stage. And their family is, they had these guys start working for them, and these guys are not who they say they are, and then everything spirals out of control. And the family is also very, very Christian, and their Christian beliefs get challenged. I'm not even Christian, but I was like, wow, they've got a massive bone to pick with Christianity. And I think just whenever anyone's very, like, taking their viewpoint too seriously, and that's kind of how it felt. I felt like they were really taking it too seriously. Like, all right, calm down. I get you don't like Christianity. Like, that's okay. But it felt like they were so, like, they had such an axe to grind with it that it wasn't funny. And so I think if you're going to make a comedy movie and you want to make a point, and you absolutely can do that. There are many great movies and TV shows that are able to make points about things. I think, one, you have to kind of be able to make, have some, like, evidence to support it. Like, well, where does that view come from? Like, South Park does that with a lot of things. So they'll give you a lot of examples, but they also make it funny. They make it very satirical. So this movie really didn't. It was just very like, okay, I get it. You don't think that you're getting a lot of answers from it, and people dedicate their lives to it, but they don't get a lot back. Like, that's what the movie is saying essentially. But
it was made in the Netherlands too, and I feel like they really don't like America or Russia, and that's fine. I get it. Like, some of their critiques, I wouldn't even necessarily disagree with some of their critiques, but I just felt like it was really hammering it over my head, and it was just like, it gave me a headache to watch.
I mean, the point of the movie seemed to be like, well, you can pray and you can be Christian all you want, but it's not gonna help you if a family member becomes addicted to drugs, or your daughter gets pregnant or something. Which, I mean, I was like, okay, so what is your point? Like, what is your evidence here? And because I imagine, because religion does help people get through some hard times, that for some people it would. So this movie didn't. I think satirical comedy really should make you think about things from a different perspective. Make you, like, kind of turn it around and be like, oh yeah, this movie didn't do that. It was just like, okay, I get it. Like,
and I just felt like I don't know. It was a bit much.
It wasn't scary. It was,
no.
I think for me, and I don't have I'm not Christian. So like, I think if you're a Christian, you're absolutely going to probably hate it. But for me, what I really didn't like about it was just gross. I don't mind funny gross. Like I love the Greasy Strangler, but this was just gross. There's a girl who's constantly chewing gum and swallowing it, and the sound they use for the swallowing it was just so gross. They keep like, just weird close-ups of people's mouths and stuff. Just all the characters are off-putting. Nobody is very likable, and they're really not very kind stereotypes here of people, American Christians, and of Russian people.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one is very flattering. It
was also kind of weird because like Alicia Silverstone plays in it, and she's Nick Frost's wife, and she's got like this business, like 90s 80s business suit on, and she was like always afraid about like getting fired at work while she's sick and stuff, and like the house is falling apart. He's just kind of a bumbling idiot, and she does not respect him at all. But then, like, when he finally kind of mans up and, like, goes psycho narrowly, then she's all into him, and she goes to start doing kitchen work and stuff, and it's like, that's what women are supposed to do? Like, that was kind of the message? Like, they're like, it's like nature taking its course. I'm like, that's a little messed up.
like, as far as, like, superhero comics, like, Idiocracy is a movie where it's hilarious, but it's actually pretty smart. Makes you think about things in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
Or even something like Bruce Almighty, if you're going to get into, like, religious comedies, like, it does make you think about a few things in a way that's different. And I think that's when those kind of comedies work best. This movie really, it felt kind of poorly researched. Like it didn't really know what it was talking about. So it didn't make me think about anything. And it wasn't funny. So like, it wasn't even just dumb funny, like Dumb and Dumber funny. It was just kind of gross.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Pierre Bones, what up?
Hey, Philip.
Philip, how was your Halloween? Tell us.
Anyway, I think I've harped on it enough. I don't know if I've really fully articulated myself very well. But yeah, there's some other movies we watched.
We watched the new Salem's Lot, or Salem's Drive-In, as I like to call it, because it goes in a completely different ending at a drive-in, which is cool, because I like that. But otherwise, it was just a so-so movie.
It really it's one of those ones where, I mean, there's some pretty shots in it and stuff, but it's very overly CGI'd. It looks very, very kind of fake and cartoony.
Glowing crosses.
Some parts of it are just ridiculous. It's tonally inconsistent. Like it will be kind of campy, and then it will take itself way too seriously. It's less accurate to the book than our previous adaptations that were done for TV. The one starring Rob Lowe, and then the one that Toby Hooper did. I don't really see a reason for it to exist or for you to waste your time watching it. I think if you want something that's a little more accurate to the book, the Rob Lowe one does that pretty well. And if you want one that's just entertaining and scary, then, the Toby Hooper one's fantastic.
That one's my favorite.
I like that better than the book.
This one was a little weird because, like you said, sometimes it's like, I'm a scary horror movie, but then it's like, now I'm a goofy action movie. Like, what? And then it'd go back and forth on those. But I did love that the big climax takes place at a drive-in theater, and they made great use of it. So,
I kind of just wish they made a movie about vampires that run a drive-in.
Yeah.
Like just forget Salem's Lot. Like just make a movie about vampires. Because the cool thing about Salem's Lot, and I feel like it's one of those ones where I'm like, did you even want to make Salem's Lot? Because Salem's Lot is very centered on the Marston house. That's why our main character goes back there, because he had a traumatizing experience at the Marston house when he was young. Now these vampires, or this vampire, Barlow, has moved into the Marston house. So, like, it's very much the center of this film. And to really kind of make the drive-in the center, it's like, well, then I don't know if it's really Salem's Lot anymore.
Yeah, that's why I call it Salem's Drive-In, because whatever. It starts off like just kind of a meh remake, but then the second half is its own thing. Kind of the opposite of, I guess, Rob Zombie's Halloween, where his first half is his own thing, and then the second half is just a meh version of something we've seen before.
Oh, Philip, I saw a picture of your Deadpool. I think you posted it on my page. It was really good. And Kevin's here.
Oh, yeah. I saw your Deadpool. What's up, Kevin? On by Horror? What were you for Halloween? How was your Halloween? Tell us. And then, so, let's see. Anything else that kind of...
Speaking of evil.
Yeah.
Trap.
Speak no evil. The performances is what kind of made that good. I felt like the trailer gave away too much, but it's fine. I still really think it's great for its own way. It is kind of like a we can fight the bad guys, John McClane our way out of it, compared to the original, which is very bleak and submissive, which is kind of
I
depressing.
think the original one is a lot more unsettling and scary, and I think the real horror of it's almost kind of like another movie called Compliance, where like how people will tolerate a lot of things in the aim of being polite. You know, you don't want to be a jerk. So like, you know, the guy ends up like taking a check for dinner because he doesn't want to object, even though the other guy, like, you know, said he was taking them out and stuff. Like little things like that. Little or you know, where you want to say something but you don't really want to have a conflict. And that's a lot of what this is. This family goes to stay with another family that they met on vacation, and it's like they're so uncomfortable and they're not having any fun, but they don't really know that they're in danger. They think that these are just kind of unlikable people. And I think a big part of the movie is, you know, we ignore our own instincts. You know, that gut reaction you have, like, this isn't right. This isn't okay. This is not a good person. We smush that down because we want to be civil, because we want to be polite, because we don't want to be the asshole. And how sometimes those instincts are exactly what you need to survive. Yeah. And how easy it would be to end up in a situation like this where you're trapped and there's no way out.
Yeah, and also the rabbit was in the car the whole damn time. At least in the original. So, and then, what was his name? The actor's name, Professor Xavier, right? The actor's name? Anyway,
I know what you're talking about. I'm drawing up
in the
total
remake.
flipping blank right now.
But I love his
James McAvoy. There you go.
Okay, James McAvoy, who's played a lot of roles that are all fairly similar. This one, though, oh God, it's almost hardly recognizable as him. So kudos to his performance. He is so over the top and such a crazy asshole. It's almost hard to believe some of the movie, just how people react to it and kind of put up with it. But I have to say he did a great job.
And yeah, like you, man, so the trailer, I think the trailer made it very clear these are very dangerous people and these guys are about to make a huge mistake going out into the middle of nowhere with them. Whereas with the original, you're like, you know, because I at least when I saw on Shudder, I went into it pretty blind. You're like, okay, well, are these guys actually dangerous or is this just really uncomfortable? You know, like I was kind of like the people in the situation where I didn't realize maybe how dangerous they were until, like them, it was too late. I think that for me maybe made the original one a little bit scarier as well. That aspect of not quite knowing.
Plus, I feel like the decisions the father character made in the original were a little more understandable. Plus, he does stand up a little bit. He does speak up and, like, you know, does try to get it out of there. He doesn't obviously do the best job, but I feel like, yeah, he made more sense. For the new one, it wasn't, like, I don't know. They were very weak until all of a sudden they weren't.
And it kind of, I mean, metaphorically for me, and like, you know, coming back to the title of the movie, like Speak No Evil and stuff, like at one point, the dad in the original one, he breaks down, he just starts crying about how he feels just kind of broken down every single day. And you just have to smile and you just have to go through it and you have to be nice and you have to pretend that everything's okay. And you have to swallow a lot of shit. And, you know, that's what this movie is. So much in this movie, he wants to say something. He doesn't know if he can. He doesn't want to have a conflict. And people are so afraid of that. And how I think it's kind of a metaphor for like sometimes how life kind of just kind of beats you down. And if you let it keep doing that and you don't stand up to it, it's going to kill you.
Yeah. I felt like with the original, they kept saying like, you know, we want honesty, we want honest reactions. But in the new one, they kept saying that. The original, I feel like they were pretty honest. Like he did honestly kind of break down and talk to him. So the points were a little different. They changed like the messages a little bit.
I will say, as far as the new one, though, I do feel like James McAvoy's character is better developed. Mm-hmm. He's a lot more interesting. There are parts where he gets kind of like, you know, kind of teary-eyed and stuff, and he's got, I think, more dimension to him. So I think he was fantastic. And some of the stuff they did with the wife, I'm trying to keep it very vague, but you know, I definitely think it is a very good movie, and it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But I still think The original is the scarier of the
Mhm.
two, and if you saw the new one and you haven't seen the original, which is on Shudder, has the exact same name, you should absolutely check it out.
Yeah, I feel like the original was creepier and had like the message was more there, but with the new one, it was better. Like as a story, developed better. Characters were more developed and anything like that, and they had more arcs. But it kind of missed its own original's point. It did its own thing, which is fine. They're both good. Check them out. And
I mean, kind of like piggybacking on what you said, I feel like in the aim of being honest, the original is more honest about what it would do to you, where I think the new one's a little more wish fulfillment. It's kind of like, yeah, I guess it depends where you're at. If you're somebody who feels like they are just wearing a smile until they cry and you don't know how to get out of it, you might want the wish fulfillment. Like, you might want to see somebody, fight back and stuff. And if you're looking for something that I think speaks to you on maybe a deeper level, then I guess the original.
yeah, and I feel like they're both fairly. I mean, it's a little bit of a hard pass, like to think everybody can John McClane their way out of it. I do think some people would definitely fight back. That is a fair assessment. Would they be successful? Who knows? But some people fight, some people freeze, some people fly. It's just kind of how it is, and definitely that's the comparison of the movies on how people would react. But it does, like I said, they John McClane their way. All right. Oh, the new Beetlejuice. Obviously, gotta talk about the new Beetlejuice. Like I said, I wrote an article on it, and the 35 years of Beetlejuice. Because even though it took us 35 years to get a new movie, there's been plenty of Beetlejuice in between. And that was my article about. But let's talk about this new movie. Tim Burton, back to form or no? How do you feel?
I mean, I don't know if I would ever say back to form, because I think Tim Burton's kind of always been hit or miss with me. Like, I mean, Planet of the Apes remake.
Okay, well, that's 2000s. And
yeah, I'm just saying, he's never... It's never somebody where, like, like a Quentin Tarantino where, like, yeah, I like everything he's done. So, especially in the last couple decades, it's hit or miss. This one, I think, if we're going with the original, I think if you like the original, you'll like this one. I wouldn't expect it to be as good as the original. I mean, to me, the original is a masterpiece. It's really, really hard to follow that up. It's just like how none of the Ghostbuster movies are quite as good as the original, but that doesn't mean that they are not enjoyable and they're not really good and they're not movies you're going to own and watch a billion times. I think this is a movie I'm going to watch many, many times. It's very, very funny. I like that it very much does its own thing. There's a few things I wanted a little bit more of. But I do love that we have multiple generations in the family. We've got Lydia and her stepmother and her daughter, which is pretty cool. I love the Bobs, which is Beetlejuice's assistant. The only, I guess, major complaint I have, and I understand, Tim Burton is dating Miranda Baccarin or not Baccarin. What the fuck? Miranda Baccarin's, pardon me, I swore. Miranda Baccarin's Firefly.
I don't think that'll get me to demonetize.
Oh, what is her name? I am not remembering people's names today.
I don't keep track of too many people who they're dating.
What's her name? Monica Bellucci. What
Dang.
is wrong with my brain?
Yeah.
So because he's dating her, it's like, and she's gorgeous. I feel like he just kind of made a part for her in the movie, but it felt like the movie didn't really need that. It felt like it had a whole other thing going on with Lydia and her family, and that was just kind of an extra thing. But I didn't hate it. I thought the character was cool looking. Definitely like the one I would cosplay as if I had to do something like that. There's lots of cool things in here. There's a musical number. Yeah, it's really fun.
What's up? Rising Sun's in the house. So yeah, I would agree. I feel like for me, when I say back to form, I was a big fan of everything Tim Burton did in the 80s and the 90s. He started off the 2000s with that Planet of the Apes remake, and from there on it was hit and miss. Like, it was a very bumpy ride, and he started really bringing out that CGI when I loved his old claymations and other practical effects that he would always have. And he started working with Disney a lot more often, again, because he's had a relationship with them from the very beginning to the end. Because he started off with little Frankenweenie shorts, and he did like some episodes for their TV show for Disney Channel back when you had to pay for Disney Channel. And he was an animator for them as well. That's kind of where he started. He went away for a while, and he came back, and then he made Dumbo, and he straight up said himself that he was just kind of tired of the mouse, and he needed to go back and figure out. Like he said himself, he needed to kind of go back to his roots. And it took us a little while, even after Dumbo, but we finally got Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, it's a movie that's been in production hell since the first Beetlejuice. Many different script changes. But yeah, there is some CGI in this movie, obviously, but it went with lots of practical, lots of the same shit that made the first one so good. My biggest problem is there's too many characters. So, like his wife and her Dolores character. What?
My sister's in the chat.
Oh, what up? Oh, Jessica. Yeah, hi, Jessica. And I just felt like there's just too many characters. Hers was like pretty unnecessary. You could kind of take her out, and you'd still have pretty much the same movie. Jenna Ortega's love interest that takes up a lot of time. There's just a lot of characters that do. Even Lydia's new love interest takes up a lot of time, and I felt like everybody was kind of stretched a little thin, just kind of crammed in there. And maybe we could have focused a little more on some of the more important characters, and it probably would have fleshed out better. Even if Dolores was in there, if the other couple of characters were not, then we could have like focused on her and developed her more, because she does have a big important part of Beetlejuice's past, and it's a callback to the last movie. She meant nothing to me. She technically was in that movie, well, part of her. But yeah, that's the only thing. I felt like it was just too much. That was like kind of my biggest problem with the last. Too many characters, and so they're just all kind of like they're pointlessly, and they get a lot of screen time, but it doesn't go anywhere with a lot of them. Same thing was my big problem with the last Ghostbuster movie. Really liked it, but just too many characters. Could have cut out some of them and probably developed the other ones.
Yeah, I
better.
agree with Mayanne there. Like having her there, I wasn't actually expecting things to go bad with who the actual villain ended up being. So it did work in that respect. And I wasn't bored. This was really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was really entertaining. It looked gorgeous. I had a lot of fun with it. So
honestly, it might have even been my favorite horror movie up until The Substance. So I don't even know it's not horrifically scary. It's a movie for a family movie, but it's still horror-esque. But I think Substance is actually sitting at the top right now.
That's top of my list. And I saw the TV Globe.
Yeah, that was good. I think we already talked about them, but Lisa Frankenstein, high on the list.
Yep.
Beetlejuice is high on my list. So, I don't know. That's just kind of a little recap of where we're at, obviously. We'll do a video of our favorites later on when we get through the end of the year, like we always do. And then we'll have the Oscars where you get to tell us all your favorites.
Yeah, vote.
Vote and nominate, please. Keep track of who your favorite actors were. Keep track of who your favorite characters were, slashers were, all that stuff. You know, the best kills that have happened in the year. Let us know.
And that was something else, and Phil makes a good point there, that Michael Keaton was back as Beetlejuice. Like, not just Michael Keaton, but we got, everybody, with the exception of one character, for obvious reasons, returned to the original roles. They didn't have to recast anybody. They introduced new characters. Mm-hmm. Michael Keaton is still Beetlejuice. Winona Ryder is still Lydia. The mother is still, played by the original actress. So I think we are really, really lucky, especially as looking at how much time has passed. Tim Burton's still directing. There was a period of time there where, that movie got bounced around a little bit, and they weren't even sure they would get Tim Burton back for it. So yeah. I think we are very, very lucky that everybody came together. And it did seem like it was something that everybody involved had a really good time with. And I think that they're setting up a third one, so I'm excited for that.
That's Beetlejuice.
Don't say it.
Okay, third time. But William Dafoe being added as well. Once again, maybe too many characters, but I really liked him in it. And obviously, he was kind of taking over because what's her name could not come back because she's passed away. And like you said, for obvious reasons, a certain person didn't come back. The character did, and I loved the use of how they kind of got around that. Like we're gonna have that character, just not have him. And that was actually a lot of fun. So, good old shark attacks. All right, so, yeah. There was a lot of Beetlejuices and Art the Clowns this year for Halloween. Especially when we went to HorrorCon. You'd see those costumes everywhere. Like, clowns everywhere. I don't think Beetlejuice counts as a clown. It kind of looks like one. So.
I like that they kind of finally explain how Beetlejuice died. Because a lot of people kind of look like how they died when you watch Beetlejuice. Not everybody. The Maitlands look pretty normal. But Beetlejuice, I was always wondering, why does Beetlejuice look like that? So, the movie tells us why. I thought it was pretty good.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to that third movie. And yeah, it's just good times. All right, though, I'm looking forward to the fourth Art the Clown movie, or seventh, depending if you count the All Hallows. But I'm looking forward to that. Um, anything that's coming out at the end of this year? We haven't seen Smile 2 yet, but we're gonna go see that
Nope.
real soon. So
I feel like there is. I still haven't seen Time Cut, but the reviews look really bad for it. I've been waiting to see it for a long time.
but we'll definitely see it. Yeah, I guess we need to go see Smile 2. We're gonna go do that here real soon.
But if there's anything you guys are looking forward to that's on your radar, let us know because off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. So let me know if there's anything I should be looking out for.
Exactly. Oh yeah, and then so after Halloween, this is technically a little bit of November recap. But November 1st, I was on the Count Jacula show. So if you go check out his stream for that, you can see what we talked about for a couple hours. And then it was my birthday. So yay, I had a birthday. I'm 41.
Yay!
I made it another year.
Yay! You leveled up.
Yes, that's what they're calling.
It's almost my sister's birthday. Yay!
Yes, that should be fun. All right, though. I think that's about it. I just wanted to get caught up, let you guys know that didn't mean to neglect. Gonna definitely be posting a lot more videos. I got some that I'm working on right now, and I'll be doing at least a stream once a month, at least, probably early in the month, if not more. All right. Have a good one.
Cut!